Hello and welcome back to segment 2 of Plane Time here in our set in Oviedo, Florida. The segment 1, if you didn't see it, you need to go back and see it because it's going to roll right into segment 2 with our buddy Bob Jex here. But Bob has more information to share with you. But again, don't be overwhelmed by the amount of information. We just got to expose you to it. It's a resource for you to use. Bob, take it away.
Thanks, Benji. It's a pleasure to be back on cam. In the previous segment, we talked a lot about the 30,000-foot view on what the FAASTeam is doing for fiscal 26. In this segment, we're going to drill down a little more on some of the specific topics of the month, topics of the quarter. These are areas where the reps, the volunteers, can get directly involved in reaching out to the public and helping to promote the FAA's mission for the year ahead. What's really cool about these topics is that they're developed by a committee of experts, the General Aviation Joint Safety Committee. They represent areas of known and well-documented risk in aviation operations, whether it's on the operating side for pilots or for the airworthiness side for the maintainers. And there are a number of ways to help meet these needs. The volunteers are the ones who put them on. You won't see the FAASTeam program managers putting these programs on. What we're looking for throughout the year is that the teams of volunteers put them on, and feel free to recruit a subject matter expert on a given area that you want to discuss. Instructors, DPEs, DMEs, DARs are all, they're great experts. Somebody from industry can be a subject matter expert for a topic that you may have in mind. Typically, these events are advertised through the Safety Program Airman Notification System, or SPANS, and that is one of the core critical skills that a FAASTeam rep needs to have. There are teams of reps at each, representing each of the airports, but within each team there needs to be some people who know how to craft and edit a SPANS message. It's not hard to do. I can even make you an expert, but that's something that's covered in rep training, usually on initial training. Most of these safety programs are free to attend. If you're going to Sun and Fun or AirVenture, there's a charge to get through the gate, but once you're there, all the stuff that you do inside the gate is free to attend, including all of the FAA-sponsored content. And for most of these events, you can earn wings credit, as we are today, or you can earn AMT, or Aviation Maintenance Technician credit. And we encourage the reps to assign appropriate wings credit or AMT credit to all the events that they're putting on. The AMTs can use it to help renew their IA every other year, every odd number year. With that, I'm going to jump into some of the topics of the month. Remember, we got off to a late start because of the government shutdown. It was a record setter, but it's not too late to do the October and November topics of the month. And I encourage the reps that are listening out there, please consider backtracking and covering them in the year ahead. Our first topic of the month is human performance. This is a topic that covers the aeromedical side of things. And if you've been following the regulatory updates that I'm putting out, you know that the Airman Medical Branch is really overhauling the way they do business to include addressing a special emphasis area on mental health. They're looking at medications that are allowed into the cockpit, and a lot of that is covered in these events that a person can attend. Human performance is the topic of the month for October. Please, if you are responsible for putting on content within your FAASTeam, please consider putting this on, even though it's a little late for October. Please cover it. Next one, please. In November, we move into a very, very high interest area, controlled flight into terrain, responsible for many, many accidents throughout the years. Even flag carriers have had CFIT accidents. There was a famous one in Cali, Colombia, many, many years ago. Long story, but CFIT, controlled flight into terrain, CFIT prevention, has been a major outreach effort
long before that, and CFIT remains a contributory cause in many, many accidents. And so it appears from the General Aviation Joint Safety Committee as our November topic of the month. For December, winter operations. I hardly need to emphasize what's going on for winter operations. Almost always you'll see safety programs advertising winter operations in the winter months. Makes perfect sense. In January, we move into risk management. Many pilots will be coming out from their winter hiding places and starting to fly after parking their aircraft for a number of months. And now they need to seriously look at their risk management processes. This is a mental approach to how you plan and conduct a flight. Risk management takes place, a lot of it on the ground ahead of time, but it also takes place in flight while key decisions are being made or executed, and sometimes they need to be re-evaluated. So risk management is your topic of the month for January. In February, we move to one of my favorite topics, multi-engine transition. They say for instructors that the multi-engine add-on is the easiest one to get, and it's the easiest one to get in trouble with. Multi-engine transition is an enormous amount of failure analysis and in operations where we simulate the failure of an engine and practice flying and building proficiency with one engine inoperative. It's a huge deal. Multi-engine transition is our topic of the month for February. In March, we promote the WINGS program with a very strong emphasis on human factors and the WINGS program. WINGS, I don't think gets enough attention from big FAA. I'll say that candidly, Ben. I think we need to promote it more. It is the FAA's lifelong pilot proficiency program. You can do it until the last day that you fly, and you can earn an infinite number of phases at different levels of proficiency. We want to see the program gain a greater and greater foothold in general aviation and in the communities that are under development now. The UAS community is coming along nicely. It is a fast-growing community, but oh baby, watch out when the advanced air mobility industry starts to take hold throughout the country. You are starting to see what looks like large quadcopter drones and hybrid aircraft that have fixed wing and rotary wing components on them. These are under development. None of them are certificated yet. They're all sophisticated, but they're not certificated yet. Once they get certificated and start going into mass production, you will see these aircraft flying at relatively low altitudes in intercity commuter hops. They'll fly out to zones where conventional aircraft can't land and helicopters are too expensive. Watch.
You ever seen the Jetsons?
It is. If you were a kid in the 60s, you saw George Jetson flying around in his air scooter. Well, I'm telling you, I'm so excited by the advent of advanced air mobility. It's coming. You will see the Jetsons happen in your lifetime if you're a child of the 60s. Very, very exciting. And so the WINGS program hasn't yet reached into the AAM community. It will. AAM is actually one of our topics of the month. It's ahead in a future slide, so we'll get to that. In April, we get into angle of attack awareness. Angle of attack is something that the military, specifically the Navy, has been using on their tactical aircraft for years and years and years. The GA community they're really late to the party. They don't use angle of attack enough. An aircraft will stall at the same angle of attack, although it may be at a different airspeed. Angle of attack awareness is a huge element in accident prevention. If pilots learn how to use it and equip their aircraft with angle of attack instrumentation, much of which can be approved under the FAA's NORC program, maybe a lot more accidents will be prevented. We have often said in the FAASTeam, in the Florida Aviation Network, and in the FAA and the FSDO and our accident outreach efforts, if we can prevent just one accident, then all of our efforts will have been worth it. I'm telling you, with angle of attack awareness, energy management as a major judgment and consideration planning factor, If we can master those topics, we can prevent not just one, but many, many, many accidents. And so angle of attack awareness is one of our topics of the month. In May of next year, owner-operator and mechanic relations will dominate the airwaves amongst the FAASTeam outreach efforts. It is a documented thing that owners, operators, and mechanics don't always trade equal information back and forth, and better communications is the goal of that topic of the month. In June, we move on to something that's relatively new in aeronautical decision making. It's called hindsight bias. Hindsight bias it's a relatively new term to me as well. It is the belief, sometimes a false perception, that outcomes are predicated on what happened in the past. If it happened this way in the past, well, that sets the stage for what's about to happen. Sometimes that's right, but it is often wrong. The fact that certain events are happening leading to an accident doesn't mean that the accident is going to happen, but many people believe that it will. That's called hindsight bias, and so there's a drill down on that in June. In July, just in time for AirVenture, the tailwheel transition effort is the major topic of discussion amongst the GAJSC. So that's your topic of the month for July. There's a beautiful aircraft in a mountain runway. There's a lot to know about mountain flying, and mountain flying is a specialty course that you can take. By the way, Benji, how much do you think the FAA is charging for people to attend courses like these that we're seeing?
Oh, it's got to be thousands of dollars.
Gosh, how cool would it be? Somebody would be raking in a nice big paycheck if it were, but all these courses are absolutely free to attend. All we want is a little bit of your time and your attention to learn something that maybe you didn't learn before.
Nothing's free.
Nothing's
it's no
free,
charge.
but you may actually get more out of some of these courses than you came in expecting to learn. That's called incidental learning, and it's a really neat experience. When you go in to learn A, and while you're learning A, you learn B, C, and D. That's the B, C, and D are the incidental learning, and that happens a lot when you attend these courses. You'll meet people, you discuss things, you'll hear stories, you'll learn a new way of thinking about things that maybe you didn't go in to learn about. Takeaways. It's a very, very cool thing. I want to stop for just a second and talk a little bit about the FAASafety.gov program. That's where you find a lot of these educational courses that you can take. Some are seminars, some are webinars, and you can take most of them for free. Some of them are offered at cost. If they're developed by content creators who make a living doing it, many of these courses will be at cost, but the FAA makes sure that they also show you the freebies that are out there that you can take for wings credit. And if you didn't know it, every time you earn a phase of wings, whether it's at the basic, advanced, or master level, any phase of wings at any of those levels equals a flight review. Pretty cool. All right, moving on. In August, right in the middle of the hot summer months, we have pre- and in-flight weather resources. I'm going to twist the arm of my buddy George Bartuska and maybe have him present some of this material at a future plane time. But pre- and in-flight weather resources, that's a topic that is changing and evolving rapidly. One of the most amazing marriages is the marriage of aviation technology and electronics technology. And when they get together in the cockpit, you have the ground being set, the stage being set for something really, really special. And seeing technology, especially weather display technology, hit the cockpit is just amazing. In September, the last month of fiscal 2026, our ops topic is one of my favorite topics now, Advanced Air Mobility, AAM. Look at how weird the aircraft in that picture looks. You may see something just like it flying over you one day, and you're going to go, what the heck is that? And you'll call me, I hope you call me and say, what was that? Get a picture of it, please. And I'll say, oh, that's the new Archer aircraft, or that's the new Joby aircraft, or whoever is making it. And they're coming, and they're coming big time. A tsunami of advanced air mobility aircraft is coming, and I couldn't be more excited to tell you. That rounds out our topics of the month for the pilot community, the operator community. Now we move into the airworthiness community, and Benji, chime in here because many of these topics that we have are based on accident data, accident causal data, and as an NTSB former investigator, as an airworthiness FAASTeam program manager for the Orlando FSDO, you've seen your share of maintenance-related accidents, and they're trying to prevent accidents with specialized outreach efforts. In the first quarter, which we're just putting the bow on it now for the first quarter of fiscal 26, wiring is the topic of specialization. There are some tips and techniques. They'll show you some bad examples and some better examples on how to do wiring to better adhere to regulatory standards and, more importantly, to help prevent accidents. In the second quarter,